It's 3 Talk, your live afternoon talk show right here on SABC 3. I'm your host, Nolene Marlon-Asang. To celebrate the end of the working week, we thought we'd bring you something completely different. Today's guests believe that science can help them unlock the intimate secrets of who we are simply by looking at your date of birth. Call us on 086 2233 303 to share your thoughts and questions live on air, or SMS us on 083 601 9932. Science has helped us to understand the way the physical world works. But up until now, science hasn't been able to answer the questions that really matter. Who are we? And what is our purpose in life? But scientist Doug Forbes believes that our birth date is like our own personal pin code that reveals the secrets to who we are, our relationships, and our future potential. To unlock this information, he uses what he calls the human pin code. Doug Forbes joins me in studio today. Doug, welcome, and thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
The human pin code, what is it? What exactly is it?
The human pin code, almost what the name says, is when you go to your bank and you've got a pin code for your bank account, you've got an ATM card, you've got pin codes for everything you have in your life, even your cell phone.
Yes.
And we have one for the humans. So we have a human pin code, hence the human pin code.
And what does it do exactly? Does it tell us who we are? Does it tell us about our future?
Well, it looks at the whole matrix of the character and the makeup and a process. And really what pin codes does is looks at a process of our process. And you know, about 90% of the way we process is non-verbal. I'm going to be careful with some things because, you know, the 6, 7, 8% verbal might not be the truth. But of course, you're going to, certain people will listen to that. But I believe that we have looked at humans up until now in gender as to male and female. And pin codes doesn't look at gender first. It doesn't discriminate, and it doesn't look at gender. We look at the process of the day that you're born. Can I talk about you just now?
I'm going to give you my date of birth, and I want to see, because I'm a skeptic, I want to see exactly how accurate you are.
So what we look at is we look at the birthday, and pin codes looks at the process of that birthday. Then we put it into gender of male or female. Now, there's some interesting things that come out of this, because you may be a female processing with dominant energy, and what I call bossy boots, you see. And you can see these types. They walk into a room, they don't walk, they're marching. And the aura, if you can put it that way, or their energy, walks in before they do. And without even speaking, the more sensitive people get intimidated by these people, and they haven't even spoke. It's just the way they walk. That's a process.
Right.
And that's when I teach people about pin codes, is you watch the process first. And as you get to understand it, just by the way they're walking and the way they speak, obviously when they start to speak, and the way they speak, you can work out the birthday. Now, I must add something, because everybody's going to say, right, everybody born on a specific day, and let's take January the 1st, 1980, for example, are we all the same? Well,
in fact, I was going to ask you that. Are they all the same?
Well, one pin code, the birthday of one pin code has 20 billion combinations. We only have 6.5 billion people on the planet. We don't even have enough people to fill one pin code properly. Then to add to that, we have 6,578 birthdays to fit into that, times 20 billion. You now have an idea of how big pin codes is. So, but I don't want to get technical with it, and I can see the look on your face.
Yes, I'm getting a little confused. When it comes to numbers, I get very confused.
It's like computers. I mean, not everybody is a designer or programmer, but you can switch on a computer and you can work the program. Somebody's written a program. And that's really what pin codes is about, is your program and learning how to use the program. So learning about the program is looking at your pin code and getting the essence. So, and they've given me 3 birthdays.
Which we'll do much later, 3 celebrity birthdays. But just very briefly, how accurate is your analysis?
95%, I say minimum, but I try and get to 99, 100%.
Give us a call on 086 22 33 303 with your questions and thoughts. And don't forget to join us after the break when Doug will be uncovering more of the secrets imprinted on us from birth.
My aim? Targeting wrinkles, firmer skin.
New improved Revitalift from L'Oreal Plenitude with Pro-Retinol A nanosomes designed to target where wrinkles need it most. Revitalift reduces the appearance of even the most visible wrinkles and firms the skin in just 4 weeks.
Objective achieved, because you're worth it.
Welcome back to 3 Talk. I'm Nolene Maulana-Sangu, and I'm chatting to Doug Forbes, the creator of the human Pincode system. Welcome back, Doug. I was born on the 14th of the 9th, 67.
You're giving this out to everybody.
I don't mind. I'm going to be 36 in September, so I don't mind. But what I want to do, because I did say that I'm a bit of a skeptic, so I'm not so sure about this. 14/9/67. Can you tell me about myself? Who am I?
You have a very interesting pin code, let me tell you, and it's one of these, when I say unique, because, you know, pin codes changes all the time as we go. You live a lot in your head. You're quite radical.
Thank you, Doug.
You're very...
So I'm not a practical person.
No, you're very analytical. You don't take anything at face value. When anybody says anything to you, you almost reject it first because you need to find out why did they say that, and analyze it. I mean, you'll go to bed at night and analyze, everything of that day will be analyzed to death, in fact.
Okay, so I'm an analytical person. Now, with the pin code, are you able to say whether I'd be able to win the lotto?
Well, interesting that you should say that, because with all of this intellect that you have, that you carry, and I mean, it's maximum that you can get in a pin code, I have no doubt that you can sit and work out 3 of the numbers analytically, you know, by taking the past lotto numbers. And then there's an element to you, believe it or not, and I don't know if you've investigated this, that almost you get a gut instinct. You are extremely good on your gut instinct. And it almost precedes when you're going to speak to somebody or what you're going to say to somebody, is you get that instant download of what you need to say. And sometimes it surprises you.
Okay, enough about me. Enough about me. Just in case everybody knows all my secrets, I'm getting a bit worried about this. Are you able to predict the future? Not predict, sorry, analyze what is going to happen with a particular individual?
And that's interesting that you would say predict, because it's not a predictive tool as such, because what we're dealing with, and I think that's where the difference lies, is that we can have a look at your path and tell you where you are in the phase of your life. But where prediction comes in, it's like a fait accompli, and this is going to happen to you. This deals with choices. That's a very big difference. So, I mean, if you're going to go from here, from Cape to Cairo, you know, you're going to take a map with you. So you're not just going to get in your 4x4 and head off to Cairo. Right. You need your map, so you need to have a look at it carefully. But it's your choice whether you want to get in and just put your foot down and go straight through, well, see how far you get. But it's choices that, if you look at it carefully, you're going to make the journey. That's guaranteed. That's your life path as well. You're going to make that journey, but it's how you as a person are going to react to situations. Are you sensitive? I mean, I'd love to go with you on a journey, by the way, with this. It would be such fun.
My husband wouldn't be impressed. Let's go to Durban. Darren is on the line. Darren, hello.
Hi, good day.
Hi, Darren.
Your question.
Pardon?
Your question, Darren?
I was born on the 31st of the 1st, 1961 at 20 to 7 in the morning.
Yes.
Bearing in mind all the millions of combinations that your guest mentioned, if I was born at 19 minutes to 7 in the morning, would my character have been very much different to what it is today?
Darren, that's a great question.
Right, what was the birthday again?
1961.
31st of...
12th, 1961.
1961.
Yes. But he's more interested in on the time. Would his character have been different had he been born a minute earlier?
We're going to have another guest later on, and I have quite a revelation to make about this. Because the question being asked here is a comparison to astrology. And this does not compare to astrology. This is a new science. This is something the world has not seen yet. This deals with a mathematical equation. It's not numerology, and it's not astrology, and it does not even begin to compete with those two
But then
methods.
a lot of astrologers would probably say, but I am able to look at someone's birthday and be able to predict what is going to happen and tell you what has happened to this particular person.
Yeah, one mustn't forget that astrology has been around a long time, and it wouldn't have been had there not been a support. But of course there is some validation to that, but I question the accuracy, and I have challenged astrologers, and one day to the next, and 1 minute before midnight to 1 minute after midnight, where the date changes. I don't want to go into the detail of that because that, that becomes far too investigative, which I don't think is the time to do that. But there is a very definite difference in saying that I was born at a specific minute. Can I leave that question
Thank you very
to
much.
be answered?
We will, at a later stage in the program, we will be analysing some of your birthdays. So don't be worried, Darren, especially in Durban. Thank you for your call, but we will analyse your birthday at a later stage in the program. Here's an SMS. If you tell me something I don't like, do I still have the power to change it?
Sorry, let me make a note of that. If you
have something in your life that you do not like, do you have the power to change it?
You cannot change it, but you can understand it and process with it with understanding. Then when you understand something, it changes anyway. And this has been a very great difficulty with people up until now, because we've been told, you see, the problem is, up until now, we get put into a box.
Right.
And you get told, even in psychology, you get put into a box and you said, and people, they tell you, that is who you are, and now you process with that. And that's very limiting. What this does, and that's why I can deal with the essence, and I can deal with you and pin codes later on. I can tell you who you are, and then I can give you the choices, and it becomes your choice and your power to change it.
Are you able to, for instance, when it comes to world events, let's say Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein is a newsmaker at the moment. Are you able to, for instance, look at his birthday and predict what is going to, or not predict, analyze what is going to be happening in this war?
What we would have a look at with Saddam Hussein, for example, is take his birthday, have a look at on his path, on his life path of where he is, and then there are calculations that we can have a look at, and where things go critical. Now, as it happens, today is a critical day for him, just by the way, because we did have a look at that. Because of it's in the public eye, it is of interest to people. But there's a couple of other days that go critical. Now, do you understand I'm saying critical? Now, if he knows that it's critical and he's been always watching or, paying attention to this, he would get out of the firing line, so to speak, or he would take evasive action. That's where your choice comes. If I say, not you, I say to some, you're going to be run down by a bus because this is a critical day, you don't go out and walk around the buses, you stay at home. That's a choice to prevent that.
Let's go to the lines. We've got Lorinda in Kempton Park. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Yes, hi, Lorinda.
Besides the analysis of my date of birth, I want to find out, they did say it hasn't got much to do with astrology, but on certain charts, I'm a Scorpio, the others I'm a Sagittarian. Does this affect me and my personality?
All right, we'll try and answer that question for you, Lorinda. Thank you very much for your call.
What was the question on that?
Before you go, Lorinda, do you need your birthday to be analysed? She's gone.
Her question was? Sorry, I was just making some notes.
She wants to know that sometimes she's a Sagittarius and sometimes she's a Scorpio, and why is that?
What astrology would say, you're sitting on the cusp, and one would say it's on this day and one would say it's on that day. And again, I come back to the science of what we're dealing with as a mathematical equation. And it's like saying that, one day I've got 11 fingers and the next day I've only got 10. There is only one answer to that. It is the day that you're born, and it deals with that day. It doesn't deal with a month that can shift say from the 21st or the 22nd, depending who's doing the chart. So there's no shifting that. It is an exact science. That's what we need to understand. This is an exact science.
If you have a question or thought you'd like to share, give us a call on 086 22 33 303 or send your SMS to 083 601 9932. Telling people all about themselves may be a great party trick, but does the human pin code have any practical use? After the break, we're joined in studio by psychiatrist Leif Brauterseth, who uses the pin code system to treat his patients. Don't go away.
The highlight of my day? When they say she has his eyes and my hair. Little do they know that Emma's scrumptious mop of gold was the inspiration for my hair color. I use Natural Honey Blonde by Nice and Easy. It turns out my own natural highlight so my color has dimension. Like hers. Natural, radiant, nice and easy. It lights up my life, just like she does. Nice and easy. May your days be filled with highlights.
Color wonderful.
Real people, real danger, real records.
What you're about to see is amazing.
It's a gut-wrenching record. Can one man break over 200 boards in 60 seconds?
They're weird, but they're cool, huh?
Are you okay? Watch in total amazement.
It's real people, real danger, real records. Guinness World of Records. Starts Thursday, the 10th of April at 8:30.
Try this. Run your fingers through your hair. Grab a curl and let it go. Pantene can change the way your hair feels. Shampoo with Pantene for 7 days and feel the difference. The Pantene Pro V formula infuses dry hair with extra moisturizers. So it becomes softer, silkier, and dryness? Forget it. It's so silky.
It works for me.
Softer, silkier hair in just 7 days. Pantene Pro V shampoo. So healthy, you'll love your hair.
It's 3 Talk, and I'm your host, Nolene Marlon-Asango. We're now joined in studio by psychiatrist Leif Brauterseth, who believes that the human pin code system gives him greater insight into his patients. Welcome, Leif. And why do you say that? Why is it that the human pin code gives you greater insight into your patients?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I, like you, am a skeptic. In fact, I'm even worse than that. I'm a cynic, okay? So I met Doug and I studied this process in detail, and I found it to have remarkable accuracy. Problem with psychology, all the tests, now they're very valid and all that, but the way they're constructed is that what they do is they put you into a box. They construct a test by asking a whole bunch of questions, after which they put you into a box and you're cast in stone. That's the way you are. Same thing with numerology and astrology and biorhythms. They say that's the way you are. Now this is purely mathematical, it's exacting, and it's deathly accurate. Now I've assessed it over several thousand patients, and how I use it.
I was going to ask exactly how do you use it? I've got a problem, I come to you, would you automatically use the human pin code if I come to you?
I don't treat patients with the human pin code. What I do is I actually have a better insight into how the person is going to process, okay? You can't change the way you process. So what happens, a person comes to me and they might be very sensitive and emotional, picking up emotional cues in their environment. Other people will be very mental and intellectual. They want the bottom line and that's it. Other people are very practical. They want to know what to do. Don't give me the theory, just tell me what to do.
Right.
So it gives a very, very succinct way of analyzing how this person processes, and you measure or you modify your technique in helping the person get across or getting the concept across to the person so that they'll be able to deal with their problems more effectively.
Let's go to the lines. Carmen in Johannesburg, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
I'm good. I was wondering,
where does this human Pincode analysis originate from? How long back does it go compared to astrology and numerology? How long back does it go?
All right, thank you very much for your question. So how long back does it go?
Pincodes?
Yes.
About 18 years now.
And this is, I think what she's trying to establish is this a new science? Has it been practiced before?
It has never been practiced before. It's recently uncovered. It's divulged and brought a lot of things about humans that we've never seen before. It's changed a lot of people's lives. I've seen the results. I think a lot of people who are now practicing it have seen it as well. It's quite groundbreaking stuff, but you know, I often see where people are coming from, because there's the way of thinking is that we've got this, the old way, and we're comfortable with that, and suddenly we get something new, it rattles a few cages, and they need to shift their thinking.
See, what I'm trying to establish in my mind is, why is it groundbreaking? I still haven't seen anything, sorry Doug, but I still haven't seen anything that says to me, yes, this is groundbreaking. I mean, what you told me about myself, I already knew.
But I didn't know you before I met you today.
Oh, well, granted,
That's
yes.
fair.
Yes.
So, but that's one of the things. I don't need to see the person. I don't need to sit with the person. I get emails from all over the world that send me a birthday. I get a couple of questions that I'd like to know, for example, male or female, because then I need to know how they process. But when you understand PIN codes, you will never look at humankind again the same way.
That is very scary. That is very scary. Let's go to an SMS. My child has learning problems. Could your system help me? I think let's go to you on that one, Leif.
Yes, it can be helped. It can be seen how a person can actually pick up where the problems are and address a therapy which is designed specifically to assist that person. If I might say, I have 2 children. Both of them had learning problems, okay? And yet, I understand that both of them are completely different individuals. They grew up in the same home with the same love, with the same opportunities. And yet, my son is a most creative writer. My daughter is a performer right through and through. And being able to help them and design your parenting in such a way that it brings out their best qualities.
Now it's coming together in my mind. Let's go to Marina in Pretoria. Marina, hello.
Hello. Hi, Nolene. Nice talking to you. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening, love.
Hi, Nolene. Nice talking to you. I would like to ask the experts if it was possible to have a short analysis on my birth date.
Your birthday, very quickly, Marina?
14th of November, 1960. Does it matter where I was born if it was not South Africa?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Just say your birthday again.
14th November, 1960.
All right. Thank you very much. You listened to the analysis on air. Thank you very much.
Wow.
While Doug is doing the analysis, you and I will continue talking. So would you suggest that every parent then, given what you were saying earlier, that every parent goes through an analysis?
Well, certainly it would help them understand what their children's strongest points are. It will also help them understand where they get on in good areas and not so good areas between the 2 of them. What's even more powerful is that you can use it for business consulting. I can actually sit down and I can, not having seen anybody, I can tell you if there's a team of people who's having a problem, I can identify who the person is in the team who's causing the problem, and if that person is moved to another section, another division, that person could possibly flourish, and the team will you know, put somebody else in, and the team will actually work with up to double the efficiency. By placing people in the right positions or in the right places in a company, you can increase company productivity, as in families.
I think you've done with your analysis, Marina in Pretoria. What do you see?
She's a very creative person. She is very articulate. She says what she wants to say. She can hurt in the process of talking to people sometimes, because she believes what she's got to say has got to say. She's very creative, quite artistic as well, but quite controlling, I must tell you. in 1960, so she would be 42 now. She's been through, this can create some difficulties because she tends to be reactive with people. So people talk to her and she sort of fights back and very controlling, very, you know, I'm right and I know what I'm doing. She doesn't like, there's an interesting thing here, she doesn't like moving house. That can be a trauma to her. She likes to stay. Her possessions and her belongings and her home are very important. Her family is very important to her.
So, Marina, I guess you're going to stay in Pretoria. You're going nowhere. How can we benefit from the human pin code in our own lives? Our guests reveal all after the break.
Jamie's friend Paula is getting married and wants Jamie to show her how to cook for 85 people without it costing an arm and a leg. He shows her a simple way to make delicious salmon fillet and easy side dishes. A fish and vegetable dish. That's Oliver's Twist, Sunday at 5 on 3.
Welcome back. Our guests, Doug Forbes and psychiatrist Leif Brauterseth, believe that the human pin code can add greater insight and direction to our lives. To you again, Leif, you know, before the break we were talking about, you know, being children and being in greater control. But if you are in greater control, what's the fun? What's the fun in life? Because suddenly you know everything.
No.
If you've been through the human pin code.
You don't know everything, okay? But you know how you're going to process or how you'll react to situations. And let me state something. Everybody, categorically, everybody in life will have a train smash. And when you have that, is going to be catastrophic or not so catastrophic, depending on how you react. We can accurately pinpoint when you're going to have that train smash. Furthermore, once knowing that that is a possibility or that it's an eventuality, it's going to happen to everybody. Sometimes people get two, okay? But the point is, you can choose how you're going to react to that or be proactive instead of reactive. And that is the choice. And that is what's so unique, given every single other investigative tool into people's personalities. None of them gives you a choice. You know, you have to go off to therapy and talk about it, and then this gives you a definite handle depending on your PIN code. Now, I'd like to address one...
Before you address that, let's go back. We actually called Marina back, and we'd need to find out if Doug's analysis was actually very accurate. Marina, welcome back.
Hi, thank you very much. I must congratulate the gentleman because I'm an artist.
Yes.
I am a religious painter. I've done this all my life. In the beginning, I was involved in cartoons, designing cartoons at a cartoon studio in Europe. And then, while in South Africa, I've been painting for the past 12 years. So I was shocked, quite shocked from my voice.
Has everything been possible? Has everything been accurate, Marina?
Most of it. My controlling side, yes. This is a part of my personality that I have to deal with. What I didn't like is the staying in Pretoria. I wish it would have been Cape Town, you know.
But you see, you don't like moving. Marina,
I know,
thank you very much.
Even that must be true. If everything else is correct, that I have to live with. Thank you very much. You have a great show there.
Thank you very much,
Bye-bye.
Marina. Well, that must make you feel what? When people call back and say, you were right.
In the beginning, it was very difficult because it was new ground. You were breaking new ground and making new discoveries into human behavior, human patterns, and dealing with the human psyche in a very different way to all the methods that have been used before. Yes, there are overlaps with astrology, there are overlaps with numerology, but it stands completely alone. And that's why I said, you know, the test at the end of the day is minimum accuracy, 95%, minimum. I try 99. Nothing's perfect, so I go for 99.
We've got an SMS. How can you be sure of 95 to 99% accuracy when you have 20 billion codes?
Well, what I said in the beginning was that in taking this and uncovering this to get to that eventual result was I can put them into boxes. And then the choices are what gives the 20 billion combination. So I've got all the choices. Now, just to go back...
But then who makes those choices? You make those choices?
No, you do those.
I as
you're
the
born
birth...
with your, You're born with your PIN code, and you are going to live with this PIN code for the rest of your life.
Right.
You're going to interact with other people, but you're going to process from the way that you believe that you process, because that's how you're made.
And then,
now,
this is getting very confusing.
No, just to finish that question so that we don't leave them up in the air. The PIN code, you take your birthday, and it's broken down into 8 different parts. Each part has 20 different combinations. So you have a personality, you have a social interactivity. There's many layers and facets to your personality. There's even one that you think people don't know about, you see. How often have you heard a couple get involved or they get married and a year down the road a situation happens and the one says, I now see a side of you I never knew you had. Now, we can do this. We can put the 2 PIN codes together and I can tell you what you're in for, whether it's easy or hard. I mean, but that's your choice. That's your partner choice. And then if you know what you're up against or you know what you're doing with it, it makes it that much more easier. And that's really what PIN codes is doing. But I hope I've answered that question with the 20 billion. Because if we take one PIN code and each position has 20, there's 10 active and 10 reactive. That's your choice to be active or reactive in that position. And that that's where the choices start coming out and the combinations within one PIN code. And you have 20 billion.
Let's see what Mike in Pretoria has to say. Mike, good afternoon.
Well, and you?
Well.
Good. One question, my birthday, 24, 7th month, 1958.
24/7/1958.
That's correct. The question is, marriage, woman, married a couple of times, where to now on those numbers, on those birthday numbers?
All right, let's repeat the number,
24/7/58.
58.
Yes.
You stay listening, Mike. Thank you very much. While you're working it out, Leif, you'll do all the talking. In terms of your clients, when they come to you, you obviously have this tool as the human PIN code.
Yeah.
Do you tell them, do you say to them, I will analyze you?
It depends on the situation. Sometimes if a person is wanting to commit suicide, they're not interested in a PIN code, but I can understand why, I can see where, and I can see how best to effectively address the problem, whether I need to listen to their emotions and let them vent their emotions, or whether I need to give them practical advice, or whether to sit and go through a whole bunch of logical, intellectual, philosophical approaches. But there's virtually no problem that can't be solved by talking, okay? So it's what you say and not, you know, and how you say it. So yes, I don't always do that with patients. I mean, even in business interviews, if I know that I'm having an interview with a person, I will say, I'll find out what their birthday is, and I can work out on this particular day between person X and myself, it would be a bad day to have an interview.
All right.
So I changed that.
Okay, so you adapt it. Let's go to Mike's analysis. He was born on the 24th of the 7th month in 1958. So what is your analysis saying about Mike?
Mike is a very charming person, and he relies a lot on, well, when I say relies, I must be careful with that, because he's come to be used to relying on his charm and personality. He doesn't express his emotions the right way. He is actually quite an emotional person, but he doesn't express them. And people tend to misread the emotion. So they think they're getting involved with this wonderful, you know, very strong, dominant person. And he's actually passive. He's 4.5 passive on that. So he's actually quite soft. He comes across as very assertive, very strong. But he's actually quite sensitive. And what he's going to do with this pin code, he attracts women who are very dominant, and they will chew him up and spit him out and say the next one.
Oh, Mike, I hope that works. I hope that works. Give us a call on 086 22 33 303 or SMS 083 601 9932. We've now discussed the theories behind it. We've explored its potential. After the break, we'll be putting the human pin code system to the test when Doug Forbes decodes mystery celebrity birthdays. Don't you go away.
Hi there, let's have a look at your weather, and we'll start with the satellite image. Mary moving into this area here, and there is any guess where she could be paying her TV license. She could go across to a Quick Pay or over the escarpment towards a Nedbank ATM. She's also welcome at a First National Bank or a Standard Bank or indeed any of the ABSA branches. Looking a little bit further ahead, we could see her at a Hi-Fi Corporation, or she could move south towards a ShopRite or to her local Checkers. Across the other side of the map, we could be seeing her at a Hyperama, or she could go to a Pick and Pay. But we think she's probably going to move into the interior to a post office, or she could go through to any of the SABC offices nationwide. That was the weather.
There are lots of places to pay your TV license, so pay yours. It's the right thing to do.
So, what shall we do with our day today? What did you have in mind?
The angels return in their quest to save souls. They bring hope and comfort. They bridge the gap between heaven and earth. Discover the true meaning of love.
This was going to be such a simple assignment.
Touched by an Angel starts Sunday 20th April at 7:30.
The game is about Jackal and his quest to destroy life as we know it. Everyone in the game is based on someone I know.
Kid, where are you? That's me.
I can't make it stop! It's reading the game!
Why is it reading the game?
We're back on 3 Talk. I'm your host, Nolene. We've talked about it, and now it's time to put it to the test. Before the show, we gave Doug Forbes 3 different birth dates to analyze. And you do not know who those 3 birthdays are. In fact, the first birthday that we have is, it's a female. She was born on the 3rd of March, 1973. Could you tell us about this particular female?
Yes, she's in her process. There's a dichotomy with her process, which is quite interesting. So people who see her in the public image and people who know her privately will see 2 different people. But to all intents and purposes, she's quite well balanced. She processes neither with dominant nor passive energy. Now, in saying that, when she gets into the public eye, she starts becoming dominant, and she's very directed, very strong. She says what she wants to say. She's very organized. She's very charismatic. She's very charming. And
is she beautiful?
Let me just do that on that axis here. Yes, there's no doubt about that.
She is beautiful.
She's a loving, giving person. She will give to people. She wants to nurture. That's really her nature, is to nurture. But yet she's got a fiery side to her, which is this drive and what she does in the public eye and how she does it. She gives it all she's got. Believe me, she doesn't hold back with this. It's all or nothing with her. She can come across a bit in your face sometimes. She can tend to say things a bit abrasive, but at the end of the day, there's a kindness to her, so she sort of rounds it or smooths it off. And the more sensitive ones don't really...
What do you think she does?
She could be a singer. She could very well be a singer. But she loves entertaining, by the way. This is very strong in her Pincode. And also, she loves to entertain at home. She loves her home. That's the private side of her. She loves animals. She's very connected, has an affinity with animals, and very kind. She's a very kind person. but sometimes can override the emotions because she is quite an emotional person, but she's a bit, you know, strong driving with other people.
All right, let's try and see if you are right. Karishni Naika, former Miss South Africa. Good afternoon.
Darlene, hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Is Doug Forbes right or is he wrong?
He is spot on. He couldn't be more accurate. I sit here listening to him so attentively, yet in absolute awe of what he's saying because he has hit the nail on the head.
Were you surprised?
It is surprising, yes, because he's picked up everything in terms of me being extremely emotional, in terms of me being in the public eye and coming across being pretty strong. I know that I can come across being extremely strong, but that's just because I'm so passionate about what it is that I'm saying that I never think twice about what it is that I'm saying. I say it like it is, as honestly and as openly as I see it. I can be extremely blatant.
All right, Karishni, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for playing with us. All right, we've got a male, that's the second celebrity, 16th of August, 1972. 16th of August, 1972, and it's a male.
Right, this person does not show his emotions. He's very charming, he's very charismatic, he's very driven. He's a team player, I must tell you, with this. But he almost takes a back seat a lot of the time because although he's very strong, I mean, this man is a very strong...
physically?
Physically strong. He's got a big presence. When he walks into the room, people know that he's walked in. Yet, there's a side to him that's actually quite shy.
He's a softie?
He's quite controlling, and he likes to be in control, and his pride and dignity are very important to him. And if somebody says something about his image or his pride or hits on that, he could walk away from situations. He doesn't like that.
All right, let's see if we've got it right. And the person is former rugby player James Dalton. James, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Did you listen to that?
Yes, I did, and I would say quite astounding, actually right on the money.
Were you surprised?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, it's obviously surprised, you know, considering, you know, it's just based on my birth date, but yeah, very, very interesting.
Just before I say goodbye to you, we saw you crying on television the other day. What are you doing now?
What am I doing now?
Yes.
I'm taking it easy, and I'm working at my business now, and yeah, who knows what the future holds in store now.
Good luck to you, James. Thank you very much for coming on air with us. We've got the last one, third birthday. It's a female, born on the 18th of March, 1965.
You probably couldn't have picked quite an interesting pin code as this one. This female is what I call fire personified, passion personified. She's full of drive. This is Bossy Boots herself. She's out there, she's in your face, she says what she has to say, she drives, and I mean, I can see her age, you know, unless she gets the right partner or the right person to deal with her, she's not an easy person to handle. She's very active, she's very driven, she gets it done her way, and nothing stands in her way. She can have little temper tantrums. She can lose the plot from time to time. She can...
What do you mean, lose the plot?
Well, she gets caught up into little conspiracy theories. Or if somebody says something, it'll stop her and she'll start to inquire why these things happened or why it was going on. But she'd soon sort it out and off she goes again. But very much a person who says what she wants to say. A brilliant, brilliant organizer, very charismatic, very charming.
All right, we can't get hold of the celebrity online, and I don't want to spoil it, so we will try and get on the phone and we will speak to her, and I don't want to spoil the surprise, and I won't tell you who it is. But just going back to the human pin code and numerology and astrology, that's come up quite often because I think people are just grounded in believing in astrology. So what would you say is the major difference between numerology, astrology, and the human pin code?
All right, let me just ask a simple question. Do you believe that the Earth is flat?
No, it's round.
Okay. Well, astrology, the inception of astrology began when people believed the earth was flat and that the universe revolved around us. When Copernicus actually came and changed that and said, you know, everything revolves around the sun, it completely modified our perspective of science, and we know the earth is round. So if I can be a little bit contemptuous, if you're going to believe one thing, you have to believe everything, okay? So if you're going to believe astrology works, then you may as well join the Flat Earth Society. That's how blunt it is. It is so different. The earth is round, it rotates, and it has nothing to do with a flat earth. And the basic premises of astrology are not, they don't carry any water anymore.
All right, just coming back to, this is groundbreaking stuff, I must say. Just getting back to the last date that we analyzed, 18th of March, 1965. It's actually Yvonne Chaka Chaka, and she is a singer. In case you didn't know, Doug Forbes, the last date that we analyzed, 18th of March, 1965, that was Yvonne Chaka Chaka, Miss Bossy Boots. That is what Doug Forbes said. I'm not sure she'd actually enjoy you saying that. In terms of the people's problems, in fact, I'd like both of you to answer this. If someone has a specific problem, can the human pin code be used to help that particular person?
Can I just answer that? Because I go back to one of the statements that I made when we started. And when I said to you, when you understand pin codes, you will never look at humankind again the same way. Because it changes your perception of how we process. And we're dealing with a process. And that process can now be quantified, and we can get you to understand. But that doesn't, you know, you deal with things like people call baggage or traumas, and I mean, we look at the world when you say you're born, there's a boy and there's a girl, and you all go and do this and you all go and do that, because boys do this and girls do that. Never further from the truth could we be with humankind than doing that with people. It will change the perception completely.
Is that the same for you, Lev? Very briefly.
Very briefly, I've used the pin code to actually show people how they process, how they should process differently, and the choices they have, and the feedback that I've had is it has absolutely changed my life. It's the first time things make sense to me from numerous people. Patients.
Yes or no, Doug? Have you ever been wrong?
In the beginning, when I was developing it, yes, but I'm getting there. When I said 95%.
We've got to go. Not only is the end of the week, but also another show. Thank you very much, Doug. Thank you very much, Leigh, for coming in. Science has given us modern medicine and state-of-the-art technology. And now, finally, perhaps science can answer the biggest question of all. What is our purpose in life? Join us again on Monday at 5, when we'll be helping you to combat common ailments. For more information on future guests and topics on the show, go to www.sabc3.co.za. You've been watching 3 Talk. I'm Nolene Marlana-Sang. Have a fabulous weekend.